In this video, we'll see how to find if a given string is a palindrome string or not. Palindrome string in the sense, like if you read it in the forward direction and if you read it in the backward direction, the word would be the same. So here MADAM, if you read it backward also, it would be MADAM, the same thing. For example, if you see ABCBA, this is a palindrome. That is, if you read it forward and backward direction, it is the same string. But ABCDA, this is not, when you read it backwards, it is not same as ABCDA, because here D changes. If you replace it with B, it would become a palindrome. If not, it is not a palindrome. So this is what we are going to check here. So now first of all, we are getting a string from the user. In a character array named str, we are getting the string. So we'll take MADAM as a string. Now in for loop we are checking I is equal to 0, that is the first iteration. I is less than strlen of str, that means string length. We are using string.h header file here, and there is a function inside that, that is strlen, to find the string length of a particular string. So when you give strlen of str, we get the length of the particular string. So I is less than, the length of the string is 5, and we are incrementing. So when I is equal to 0 and I is less than 5, we are checking if str of I, that is, we are giving the positions, that is, because it is a character array, there will be positions 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you check str of 0, that is M, is not equal to str of le, that is strlen of str, that is string length minus I minus 1. This means that we have string length as 5 minus I is 0 minus 1, so that we get the last index position, last index value we get, because we are starting the index from 0 to 4. We cannot give the, either you can give it as string length minus 1 or string length minus I minus 1. This would give the last index of that particular string. So now we have 4. So M, that is str of I, str of 0 is M, is not equal to str of 4 we are checking, but it is equal to M, so this condition fails. It won't execute these two statements, flag is equal to 1 and break, it won't execute, it will come out of the if condition, and I will increment. So I will be equal to 1. Now we are checking str of 1, that is A, is not equal to, now this will become 5 minus I is 1 minus 1, that is 5 minus 2, which is equal to 3. A not equal to 3 will be checking. A not equal to str of 3 is A again, so this condition fails, and we won't be executing the remaining statements in the if condition. So I is equal to 2, I is equal to 2, it is D. Now if you see D not equal to, we are checking string length of str is 5 minus I value is 2 minus 1, which is 5 minus 3, which is equal to 2. So str of 2 is again D. So D not equal to D, this condition fails, and we won't be executing these two statements. Again I will increment, I will be equal to 3, 3 is less than 5. So A of, that is A value, str of 3 is A, is not equal to, when we are checking that, 5 minus 3 minus 1, that is 5 minus 4 is 1. So in first position we have A. So the same way, when you increment to I is equal to 4, this value we get as 0, whereas str of 4 is not equal to str of 0 will be checking. So 4 is equal to 0, that again that condition fails. Then for loop will be exiting the for loop, because only till strlen of str we are traversing. So finally flag value will not be equal to 1, flag value will be 0. So when flag is equal to 0, when flag is equal to 1, that is if flag, in the sense if flag exists, that means flag is true. So when flag is true, it is not a palindrome string we have given. But here flag is equal to 0, the flag value has not changed till the end, so it is a palindrome. Okay, now we'll run this program and see. If we give MADAM, we get it as palindrome ABCDCBA. This is a palindrome again. Now we'll check one more thing, that is we give capital letters in between, like A, B, C, B, A. So the value is same, like we have given B instead of small b we have given capital B, otherwise we have given B only. So but this shows that it is not a palindrome string because small b and capital B has different ASCII value. When we run the code, it won't be able to detect whether it is the same alphabet or not. It will check only the ASCII value. So for that, what we have to do is either we need to change all the letters into small letters or all into capital letters. So for that, either you can use a for loop, or here itself in after every iteration we'll be like, before every iteration we'll change everything, like 2 lower of tr of I is not equal to 2 lower of that value. So now what will happen is, whatever the value is, before comparing we'll be converting it to two value. We won't be converting it permanently, just for the sake of the condition we'll be converting into lower value. You can give it as either 2 lower or 2 upper. For that we need here as one header file called hash include ptype.h. Now if you run the code anvna, it is a palindrome string. It is accepting because we have converted all the letters into lowercase, and we are checking. You can convert it into uppercase also, it will detect the same. But if you don't convert all the letters into same, like if everything should be in lower case or everything should be in uppercase. So in Java, what we're doing is, there are different methods to do this program in Java. In one method, the normal way which we did in C program, the same way we are continuing here. So here we are entering the string using next line function. We are getting the value from the user. Now what we're doing is, in the same string variable we are storing the string in lowercase. So here we are not using character array, here we are using string class. Instead of the data type string, we have string class here in Java. So using that class, as we are creating a variable, and in that string variable we are assigning a value given by the user. So in the same variable, what we're doing is finding the lowercase of the whole string and storing it again in the same variable. So now every letter of the string will be in lowercase. You can convert it into uppercase also. So to do that, str dot, that is string name dot to lowercase. This is the function we are using it here. One thing to notice is L should be capital and C should be capital, but in C program we won't be using camel case, everything is small. Here L and C should be capital. That is one thing to notice while using this function. Or you can use as str dot to uppercase function. This also would do. Now passing that string to a function called is palindrome. In this function we'll be checking if the given string is a palindrome or not, and passing that value into the if condition. If that function gives true as the value, it is a palindrome, else it is not a palindrome. Now we'll see what the function says. It is a boolean function, as we are getting true or false value in the if condition. So here we are passing the string as the parameter, and we have I value to iterate, and j value, it stores the length of the string. So in C program we find the length as strlen of that particular string value, but in Java we can find as str dot length. So we have here length function, and there we have strlen function. We are finding the string length and storing the last index of that particular string in the j variable. That is, if we have a string like this, the length of the string is 5, but we need the last index to traverse. So that we are storing in j value str dot length minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 is 4. We get the last index. So in I we are taking the first index, and in j we are taking the last index value, while I is less than j, that is first index is less than the last index. We are traversing from the first index till the last index. That's why we are giving this condition. We are checking str dot caret of I. Caret is a function where we'll be getting the character value at the given I value. Here I value indicates the index value. So if I is equal to 0, at index 0 we have a character that will be returned here. So caret of 0 means we'll get M value. Caret of 1 means we get A value. So retrieving the character from the string value using its index. For that only we use caret value. So now str of caret of I, that is 0, not equal to str of caret of j, that is 4. So 0 and 4 we are comparing. It is same equal if condition won't be executed. Now I will increment, j will decrement. Now it is 1 and 3. We are checking str of 1 is not equal to str of 3. It is equal. So again I will increment and j will decrement. Now what happens is that both I and j will come to 2. Now if you check I is less than j, I is not less than j, it is equal to j. So while condition won't execute, we'll exit the while loop and we are returning true value because it is a palindrome. Now if you see a, b, c, and if you check str dot caret of 0 will be uh, a, and str dot caret of j, it will be 2. So 0 and 2 we are checking. A is not equal to c, so we are returning false. We are not going to check further. Even if it has so many characters, like it may be program. Okay, for first we are checking the 0th value and the last value. If it is not equal, we won't check further because obviously if one value is wrong, it's not going to be a palindrome. So we are not checking any further. Even if one value mismatches, like if this condition, that is if one value is not equal to another value, then we'll be returning false, and here we'll be printing it is not a palindrome. We won't execute anything further. We are going to return this function as false. So this is one method in Java to check if the given string is palindrome or not. Now we'll enter a string a, b, h. It is a palindrome string. A, g, f, g. It is not a palindrome string. Now we have another method. Here what we are using is another method, like appending one string, getting the reverse of the string and checking if it is equal to the other string. In the before program, what we did was checking each character by character whether it is equal to the first and last character or not, or we're incrementing the index value and checking the corresponding last value to it, and if it is equal, then it is a palindrome. Here what we are doing is we are taking the reverse of the whole string. We are not going character by character, we are taking the reverse of the whole string and we are checking. So this would be an easy method. Here we have two variables, str and strrev. In str we are getting the string value, and in len variable we are storing the string length. So in for loop I will be equal to length minus 1. So you are taking madam as the string value. We have the index from 0 to 4. So here I value would be I is equal to length minus 1. Length is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. We are starting from I is equal to 4. We are checking 4 is greater than or equal to 0, which is true. Now what we are doing is strrev. In this variable, when you use plus operator in Java, it can also mean that other than addition, it can also mean that we are appending a string value or we are appending a character value in a variable. Why we have given null value in str reverse is that to append the value, you cannot append a character or a string directly into a string variable. So we need to have some value in that particular variable. For that we have given null value. Now when you append, we have strrev value as null. When you append the caret at I, so it is caret at 0, that means m. We are appending the character m to this string. So what will happen is the string will be m. Okay, now again we are doing I will be equal to 3. 3 is greater than or equal to 0. Now strrev would be equal to, we are appending to m, will be appending the next value, that is when I is equal to 3 we have a. Now we have the string value as ma when you append it. The same way when I is equal to 2, when you append strrev will be equal to mad. We are appending d. When I is equal to 1, it will be equal to mada. When I is equal to 0, it will be equal to madam. And if you decrement further, I will be equal to minus 1. So minus 1 is, when you check minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0, it fails and we are stopping the for loop, we are exiting the for loop. Now we have str value as madam and str rev values, the string reverse value as madam again. This value we have stored in string reverse. So now we have to check if both are same or not. So as I said earlier, we need to convert all the letters into the same case. So for that we have either you can use two lowercase or two uppercase function, or we have another function called equals ignore case. That means when executing this condition, the case won't be considered. The case of the string or the variable or the character will not be considered. That is, we are ignoring the case of the string or the character and we are checking the condition. So this would be more preferable because we don't need to convert it into another case. We can just ignore the case if we are not using that particular case. So here str is madam, str rev is madam. We have capital at the first and we have capital at the last for both. Now what we are doing is we are checking str dot equals ignore case. So that means we won't be considering any of the capital or small cases, and we are checking if str dot equals ignore case this value. So we basically we are checking both the values are equal or not. That is, str dot equals function. When you give str rev, we'll be checking if this variable, this string variable is equal to this string variable or not. Since we are adding ignore case also to this function, there is another function called equals ignore case which check if two strings are equal or not by ignoring its case. So when it is equal, it is a palindrome string, otherwise it is not a palindrome string. Now if you execute this, we have madam, it is a palindrome string. We have another method. This would be a more preferable method because it is easy to use. We don't need to go for loop or while loop and all. So here the main function, it is the same thing as we have done in the before program. Only thing is the is palindrome function, it will differ. That is, instead of using a for loop and all, we are using string builder class. So why we are using the string builder class instead of the string class is that this string builder class has so many functions which is not available in the string class. Like you can reverse the string using reverse function. Reverse function is there, append function is there, so many things. So there are a few functions which are not available in the string class, so we are using string builder because you needn't go for loop to reverse the string. Directly you can use this reverse function. So string builder, for that particular class we are creating sb as the object. So string builder object is equal to new string builder of that str. We are passing the string value as its parameter. We have to pass as the parameter. So now sb is the object of string builder class and sb contains the string value. Now we are using sb as the object and sb dot reverse. If we give string the string builder class or the sb object has already the str value, so we don't have to take the string value again. The string builder object has already stored in it the string value. So directly when you give sb dot reverse, this would reverse the string value and it will store in sb itself. Next, when you check string rev equal to sb dot to string, this is the next statement what we are giving. So in sb the string reverse is stored in object form. We need to convert it into string. So for that we are using toString method. So sb dot toString means the value which is stored in the sb object, we are converting it into the type of string and we are storing it in another string variable called rev. Now rev has the reversed value and str is the original value. Now we are checking str dot equals of rev. If both are equal, then it is true. True means it is a palindrome string, otherwise it is not a palindrome string.